Good evening and welcome. I am Amarachi Ubani. Tonight, Acting President Yemi Osinbajo describes ceding of Bakassi Peninsula to Cameroon as a huge loss to Nigeria, pledges resettlement of displaced indigents. 14 persons reported killed in Thai local government area of Rivers State following alleged cult attack on Simetai community. Benue State lawmakers call for arrest and prosecution of Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders Association Secretary General for treason and incitement. And world's leading industrialized nations restate commitment to 2015 Paris climate deal as part of U.S. withdrawal from the pact.
And on business news tonight, NAFDAC slashes registration fees on locally manufactured products, plans to end fees collection by consultants.
And on sports news tonight, defending champions Real Madrid and Italian giants Juventus arrive in Cardiff for tomorrow's UEFA Champions League final.
And from Abuja, federal government fresh outbreak of bird flu in 7 states and the nation's capital, Abuja.
Almost 10 years after Nigeria ceded the oil-rich Bakassi Peninsula to Cameroon, Acting President Professor Yemi Osinbajo has described the action as a huge loss to the country. The Acting President, who was speaking at a town hall meeting in Calabar, the Cross River State capital, however, promised the displaced indigents of the region will be resettled. He said the federal government will see to the construction of the Lagos-Calabar rail to foster economic development in the state and for the good of the people.
It was meant to be an interactive session between the acting president and the indigents of Cross River State. But it ended up being a session of many requests from the resident, with the acting president listening patiently. Top on the list is the permanent rehabilitation of persons displaced in 2008 from the Bakassi Peninsula, while others complained about the porous nature of the borders.
Bakassi is the channel through which small arms are entering Nigeria. At the moment, we have noticed that they are receiving training from foreign fighters and are receiving overtures from Ambazonia. Ambazonia is the southwest Cameroons, as well as some of our own local communities that are interested in succession.
Loyalty should not make anybody go too hungry or abandoned. Yes. It is therefore expected that we will request the federal government of Nigeria to place Cross River State on a perpetual loyalty compensation.
Governor Ben Ayade also had a request from the federal government.
If you took our oil wells, if you dislocated us from our dependence on our own natural resource, please allow us the luxury. Give us the support. Give us that same money that you provide us for Tier 1 exploration for Cross River State to look for our own oil.
The federal government is...
The acting president responded with an assurance of the federal government's commitment to ensuring growth and development in the state, just like in any other part of the country.
Just listening to you on the ceding of Bakassi as a result of the judgment of the ICJ, this is a development that all of us consider a loss. But the president strongly believes, and I'm sure that many of us know that he has expressed himself several times on this issue, that while we ruminate over the legal issues, we must not allow Nigerian citizens in Ikang and elsewhere to suffer. The federal government is determined to do more with the displaced in Bakassi. This is our duty and our commitment. We will ensure that we do more. We'll ensure that we engage with all of the groups that need to be engaged with. As a matter of fact, already a lot has been going on in terms of trying to see what exactly needs to be done in order to make a strong impact on on the situation of those who are displaced in Bakassi.
The visit of the acting president has no doubt rekindled fresh hopes amongst the residents of these areas, but they are now looking forward to the manifestation of the promises made.
About 14 persons have been killed in Simetai community, Thai local government area of River State, following an alleged cult attack in the area. Some residents say heavily armed assailants stormed the community, shooting sporadically and leaving a number of persons dead and several others injured. The police public relations officer of the State Police Command, Namdiomoni, told Channels Television that although details of the attack are still sketchy, investigations are on to unravel the cause of the attack and unmask the hoodlums. Meanwhile, 6 persons have also been reportedly kidnapped in a fishing settlement known as Asramatoru in the Andoni local government area of the state. The assailants are said to have stormed the settlement in 2 gunboats and 7 speedboats. Staying with security, at least 8 suspects have been arrested in connection with the recent kidnap of 6 students from a school in Ekpe, Lagos State. That's according to the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Ibrahim Idris, who was on a working visit to the Imo State Police Command. On the killing of 4 members of a family in Ikorodu this week, the IG says investigations are ongoing as he has directed his intelligence unit to move into Lagos State and track down the perpetrators of the dastardly act.
Lagos, Port Harcourt. We are trying to spread out, especially in the southern part of the country, so that we can be able to tackle criminality to its fullest. And like I said, we call on the cooperation of every Nigerian to support the police to protect the community. The sort of equipment that we are trying to use to check some of those situations we are talking about, for government to appear from nowhere and kill people, it's supposed to be our intelligent platform, which we can use to, prevent the occurrence of some of these activities. On the issue of Ikorodu, like I told you there, I think the only thing I can tell you is that we deployed our special units in that area, and definitely, like I told you, we have arrested 8 suspects in relation to that kidnapping. We have been tracking some of these militants in that Ikorodu area. And like I said, just give us within 1 or 2 months. We have got some, some gunboats that we are going to deploy to those police, the military, and they are assisting us in the training. By the time we get these gunboats and train our marine police officers, more of them, we are going to deploy them, and we are going to hear the last of these kind of miscreants along the creeks.
Joining me now on the News at 10 to discuss the rising space of crime, especially in Lagos, is the State Commissioner of Police, Fatai Owushini. You're welcome to the News at 10.
Good evening.
Good evening. We've noticed an upsurge in crime recently here in Lagos. Why do you think that is?
That would not be accepted as a true statement. There's not an upsurge in crimes in Lagos. Rather, crimes have reduced in Lagos. If I must talk to the incident in Ikorodu, which everyone had tagged Bado thing, the command had been putting all its strategies together to address this. And it will be recalled that at one occasion we went to Ikorodu to have dialogue with the traditional institutions and the leaders in Ikorodu, that it is high time that we stop the conspiracy of silence. These murder cases that is tagged and linked to what is called Bado started like something, the first one that we noticed was around November 2016, and it was then concentrated at a place they call Ibeshe. And we went to Ibeshe, we dialogued with the traditional ruler there on the need for everyone in that community to join in a patrol. We've studied the pattern, we've done her mapping, we've looked at the modules, and nothing can be called that is happening in Ikorodu other than ritual killings. And when we noticed that, we got those people in Ibeshe, and for a very long time, it stopped in that place until last month when they recorded one. So these fellows now spread. We've had 2-3 cases at Imota. Before this one we have at Tibobo. But one common factor there The 6 suspects we've arrested, 5 have been charged to court. We've also seen whether we can link them together. They are not linked together. But one thing that is common in what they are doing is that they don't steal, they don't take human parts. It's difficult to see that you are getting someone with exhibits. But you just find out that people get in and they use pestle or grinding stone. And they would say they hit someone on the head. And in the morning, they will see blood flowing. And it's also, the pattern also follows those areas where houses that are remotely located by the bush, where you find out that the next house to it is about 500 meters or so. So that is why we've been calling for partnership of the people in the area. There is no masquerade. There is nothing like Bado.
Yes, but Ikorodu does appear to be a problematic area, you know, for Lagos. You just mentioned the groups that have been operating there, and then recently this Bado cultic gang, it seems, that killed a family of 4.
Yes.
I mean, that is scary for anybody who lives in Ikorodu and who knows that this group exists in the community.
You see, from what I told you, from the pattern and from the modus, they are just isolated houses, in most cases, on completed buildings, where they would just say they jump into the place. The last incident where the Ikorodu people and some elders in Ikorodu need to come out and stop this conspiracy of silence is that you are talking of a family, that everyone saw the head of the family on a Sunday. And of course, if we're talking of good neighborliness, some people would probably say, oh, we've not seen Mr. So. For 2 days, nobody cared as to what was happening until 2 days thereafter that they were saying, oh, we've not seen this person, and police went in there and found out that this thing had been done. And we met a girl alive in the house, which is still responding to treatment at Luth. But the way we can solve that problem, we are just celebrating that we've done away with militancy in Ikorodu after clearing the Ishawa Creek. And this is now emerging. So we look at all other strategies with which we can synergize and get strong commitment by the people in Ikorodu in order to mask this people.
Would that also include a focus on kidnapping in the state? Because a recent one that happened was the community in Ekpe that received a message from the kidnappers saying that they would be
No, I would disagree with you. Reporters had said that a message was sent. No message was sent. And if you've been following, anybody that has been following in Lagos, you'll also find out that the issues of kidnapping for close to about 3-4 months, we're not having anything until we had this one in the scale. Yes, we've looked at the way it happened. We've looked at the challenge of the terrain itself. We've looked at that. And of course, we don't want to talk too much about this last incident because we don't want to be distracted in the ways we are doing. But I know that we're going to get over it. And of course, the last of it will be that the whole militants would be dislodged. It was done successfully at Ikorodu. After the police entered into the creeks at Ishawa, it's more than 2-3 months now. You've not had anything. They've moved away from the place. And of course, we've studied that when they were moving out, they moved towards Ogun State. The houses where these fellows are now is just a center. One side is Ogun, one side is Ondo, the other side is Lagos. And we've put all our resources together with a view to, headlong tackle these things so that we get all these fellows out of the water and we'll be able to have a control of the waterway.
It sounds like you're trying to reassure Lagosians that everything is fine. So you're saying that you're properly equipped, both in terms of training, logistics, and weaponry to fight to confront this violent wave of crime.
I can tell you that what it requires to tackle this headlong, we have. And if we can do it successfully in that axis, where we used to have this being carried out almost on a regular basis is Ishawa. Ishawa had been cleared of the militants and, taking advantage of the borderline in between Lagos, Ogun and Ondo State on the water. We've also done a lot of intelligence. These are things that you don't come out to, you don't reveal your strategies to your enemies. And we surely get over this. All the challenges with some of those schools that are relocated, especially the challenges of the terrain. We are addressing that with relevant government institutions on the need for us to get proper things done in those areas, and we'll overcome this. Commissioner
Fatai Owushini, thank you so much for joining us on the News at 10, and we wish your men the best as they tackle crime in Lagos. I've been speaking with the Commissioner of Police here in Lagos, Fatai Owushini. Now in part 2 after the break, security operatives in Kaduna State confront banditry in the northwest, kill at least 20 cattle rustlers, arrest several others. Just stay with us.